This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss, SLT Mobitel Fiber,
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Shine Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Government ends the licensing of non-essential imports. Government raises a higher special commodity levy. News in detail. The government has ended the licensing of non-essential imports, replacing it with higher taxes to manage the pressure on scarce foreign reserves. The government yesterday requested all stakeholders to rationalize imports on the basis of importance and urgency to conserve limited foreign exchange for essential commodities. The Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policies Ministry announced two actions under the Imports and Exports to Control Act No. 1 of 1969. First, the postponement of effective date of the Imports Control Regulations on Payment Terms No. 7 of 2022, published on the 6th of May, and second, the termination of Imports and Exports Control Regulations No. 5 of 2022 and No. 6 of 2022, effective from the 1st of June. Has been promulgated and published in Gazette number 2281/22, dated 31st of May 2022, bring into effect the postponement of the effective date of the Imports Control Regulations number 7 of 2022 from 20th May to 7th June 2022. This means any cargo or consignment imported under the open account payment terms, documents against payment or documents against acceptance can be released from Sri Lanka Customs as per general practice applicable prior to the 7th of May till the 6th of June 2022. Imports and Exports Control Regulations No. 8 of 2022 has been promulgated and published in Gazette No. 2281/21, dated 31st of May 2022. A total of 369 HS codes controlled by these regulations can be imported without import control license effective from the 1st of June 2022, subject to applicable rules and regulations including duties and taxes at the time of custom clearance of cargoes and consignments. The Finance Ministry has raised a higher special commodity levy on 9 types of items including imported fruits. Finance Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has made this increase under the Special Commodity Levy Act. The new tax hike will significantly raise the prices of imported yogurt, cheese, butter, other dairy spreads, all types of grated or powdered cheese, dates, apples, grapes, oranges and other fruits. The special commodity levy for imported yogurt, other dairy spreads, dates, both dried and fresh, and fruits has increased 100%. The levy for butter has increased 850%, and all types of grated or powdered cheese, the levy is up to 250% from the tax hike announced on the 3rd of March 2022. A special commodity levy of 2,000 rupees per kilo has been imposed on yogurt and dairy spreads. The tax on butter will increase 1,500 rupees per kilo, and the levy on all types of grated or powdered cheese will increase 600 rupees per kilo. The special commodity levy on apples, grapes, both dried and fresh, and oranges will increase 600 rupees per kilo, while the tax on kilogram of dates, both dried and fresh, will increase 200 rupees per kilo. The cost chocolates will increase 200%. Further, tires for cars, motorcycles and tricycles will cost 50% more. ACs, washing machines, rice cookers, refrigerators and phones will cost 100%. And the cost of other electrical appliances will increase by 15%. In the first quarter of this year, imports have grown 12% to $5.6 billion, though in March the value dipped 5.6% year on year to $1.8 billion. Shipping agents have warned that shipping lines could withdraw from accepting import and export cargo in and out of Sri Lanka. Local agents have failed to pay $70 million in freight charges owed to shipping lines over the past several months due to the foreign exchange crisis. In a recent meeting with Minister of Ports, Shipping and Aviation Nimal Siripal de Silva, the Ceylon Association of Shipping Agents discussed the key industry concerns and issues with the newly appointed minister. During the meeting, the CASA pointed out that many of its members haven't been able to pay freight charges collected from importers and exporters on behalf of their respective shipping lines since last September, which had accumulated over $70 million. CASA chairperson Shahara de Silva cautious that failure to pay these freight charges would force shipping lines to cease services extended Sri Lankan exporters and importers, bring to a halt almost all export and import activity. The CASA proposes that shipping lines are allowed to pay port charges in rupees until October this year. While starting 1st June, the government decided to require all payments to the Sri Lankan Ports Authority to be made in the US dollars. The Minister of Ports, Shipping and Aviation agreed to discuss the matter with the central bank in order to come up with a solution. Members of the CASA point out that certain payments cannot be made in dollars as they are received in rupees. These include payments such as LCL charges, change of status, reefer electricity charges, and payments for conventional vessels such as break bulk, casual collars, and tanker vessels. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. COP Chairman Charita Herath has directed officials of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation to resolve the drug shortage as soon as possible through the Indian line of credit and other credit facilities. SPC officials appeared before the committee recently to discuss the shortage of drugs in government hospitals and measures taken to address the shortage. COP Chairman Charita Herath informed the committee that despite receiving $200 million in financial assistance under the Indian Credit Line facility, by the 22nd of April, the Ministry Drugs Subcommittee had only recommended a medical stockpile worth $55.5 million, which is only 28% of the grant. And by the 18th of May, only $92.9 million had been recommended for invoices. Committee members holds that as there is a shortage of essential medicines in the country, action should be taken to obtain the required medicines using this money immediately. SPC officials maintain that necessary steps are being taken to obtain essential medicine with this money and that the process was delayed due to the appointment of several ministers during this period. The committee was told that in addition to the Indian Credit Line, the World Bank Loan Assistance Scheme, World Health Organization, Asian Development Bank and other donor assistance has been received for the purchase of medicine. This assistance exceeds $330 million and has not yet been disbursed. Committee members hold that if the necessary administrative decisions, approvals and purchases are made with this money, there will be no shortage of drugs until the middle of 2023. The COP chairman noted that money received to prevent the shortage of drugs had not been managed effectively. He holds that it is inefficiency in management of funds that has led to the drug shortage. Officials also pointed out that there was a shortage of rupees in purchasing medicines. The Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, who joined the meeting virtually, stated that the necessary steps were taken to resolve it as soon as possible. The weekly Treasury bill weighted average rates was seen continuing its bullish momentum, recording steep dips across all three maturities for a second consecutive week at its auctions held yesterday. The market-favorite 91-day bill maturity recorded the highest drop of 90 basis points to 22.75%, while the 182-day and 364-day bills registered drops of 62 and 55 basis points respectively to 23.60% and 23.75%. The total offered volume was fully accepted at the auction for a second consecutive week, totaling 83 billion rupees this week. The bids to offer ratio increased to 2.93 to 1. Activity in the secondary bond market increased yesterday as the maturities of 1st June 2025, 1st May 2027 and 15 January 2028 changed hands at a low of 21.2%, 20.5% and 21.2% respectively, against its opening highs of 21.8%, 21.25% and 21.5%. In secondary bills, the latest 91 and 364-day maturities traded at levels of 22% and 23.1% post-auction. The total secondary market treasury bond or bill transacted volume for 31st May 2022 was 4.96 billion rupees. In money markets, the net liquidity deficit stood at 535.47 billion rupees yesterday, as an amount of 196.97 billion rupees was deposited at central bank standard deposit facility rate of 13.5% against an amount of 732.44 billion rupees withdrawn from central bank standard deposit facility rate of 14.50%. The weighted average rates on overnight call money and repo stood at 14.50% each. In the forex market, the middle rate for US dollars Sri Lankan rupee spot contracts depreciated to 360.1114 rupees yesterday against its previous day's 360.76 rupees. The total US dollars Sri Lankan rupee traded volume for 31st May 2022 was 71 million US dollars. Palm Oil Industry Association yesterday said its members are ready to support the economy and government to overcome present challenges. The POIASL requested authorities to repeal the bans and policies against the industry so that it can support the economy and the government in its medium to long-term economic objectives. In a statement, POISL called for liberalization of the palm oil industry, which it emphasized will help strengthen smallholder investment in oil palm cultivation and create massive opportunities for economic emancipation and rural development through oil palm cultivation by smallholders. The association further added that allowing the local industry to flourish will help Sri Lanka reduce its dependence on foreign exchange for the import of edible oils, while also helping strengthen Sri Lanka's food security. Palm oil is one of the most productive and lucrative cash crops available anywhere in the world, and the industry has helped uplift millions of people out of poverty worldwide. In fact, palm oil is the most produced, consumed and traded edible oil in the world, accounting for over 33% of the global edible oil market. Palm oil typically supports an economy in two primary ways. First, by reducing dependence on imported edible oils and by creating new economic opportunities for people. The industry may even make Sri Lanka a net exporter of edible oils, as palm oil is 4 times more productive than other vegetable oils on a per-acre basis. Next, due to the high levels of productivity and heavy demand for palm oil, plantation workers on oil palm estates presently earn up to twice the amount that workers on tea, coconut and rubber plantations do. The total extent of palm oil cultivation in Sri Lanka is less than 12,000 hectares, entirely on large estates. Compare this with a major producer such as Malaysia, with 6 million hectares cultivated, where 40,000 or more is produced by smallholders. This has helped to drive a boom in rural economies across countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, helping to lift countless millions out of poverty and create a bright and prosperous future. The POIASL has also established this with other leading producers of palm oil in the world, and these friendly countries are ready and willing to extend support to Sri Lanka in terms of expertise and technical knowledge to further the industry. Stay tuned for stock updates. Indian Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The All Share Price Index gained 34.82 points to close at 8,099.51, and the S&P SL20 gained 16.34 points to close at 2,671.72. The turnover was 1.4 billion rupees and over 69 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex Rates. And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
UHD quality video streaming. Internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
IWS Aviation.